Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm talking about LTC, and that stands for License to Carry. That's what we have here in Texas. There are still people that still have concealed handgun licenses, whatever your state calls it. If they have it, this is kind of why we do it, why you should think about it, and you know, if your position is, I cannot do this. It's not in me to fire a weapon at somebody, then I would recommend not getting it, because when you make that choice to put a firearm on your hip, you're making that decision before you ever walk out your front door that if someone comes to harm you or the people you care about, that you will defend yourself or them to the fullest extent necessary. That doesn't always mean that you have to pull the trigger, but if you're not willing to use it, you should never pull it, because eventually what happens in a lot of things that I've read, seen, and heard from law enforcement friends of mine is that hesitation, that unwillingness to actually use the firearm and use it for anything other than a fear factor, is how people get their firearms taken from them and then used on them. So if you're going to carry, you have to make that conscious choice that if the worst should happen, you will use it. It doesn't mean that you want it to use it, and actually, people that have their LTC are usually the best at de-escalating the situation, recognizing where possible threats could come into play, and then avoiding them, and just staying as far away as they can. But if the bad guy shows up with intent to harm, now you have a way to defend yourself. And that's why I carry, that's why a lot of people carry, is because we don't want ourselves to be injured or killed. But I'm a family man. My job is to protect my wife and my kids. And my wife is gone through the process to get her LTC also. So she can defend the kids and herself if need be. And that's the thing is, if I hear pop, pop, pop in Walmart, I'm not carrying so I can go be that hero. I'm carrying so that if the gunman's between me and the door, I'm going to get between my kids and the gunman, and I'm going to take them out before they hurt my family, take my kids out. That's why you carry. It's not to be a hero. You're not law enforcement. You don't put your hand on your firearm. You don't show your firearm or pull it out. When you pull it out, the threat's already there. Now, I'm going to go into a lot of different things during this little series I'm doing about carrying that some people may agree with, some people may disagree with, but I'm going to give you my logic behind everything that I say. And I'm taking it as this is my experience, my training, and my research. If you disagree, that's fine. You have your opinion, and everyone has a right to it. But I'm going to share mine for those who want to listen. But with the things that are going on with our society, more and more shootings are happening. More and more muggings are happening. And violent crime isn't just happening with firearms. People are using knives. They're driving cars into people. They're firebombing people. And the violence is just escalating and escalating and escalating. And unfortunately, that's not a problem with firearms. It's not a problem with the tools that are being used, because that's all they are, is a tool. The problem is a society thing, where we've gone to the point to where we are so caught up with worrying about offending this group, or worrying about what this person is going to think, or worrying about whether or not someone likes me or not, that people aren't disciplining their kids. They aren't teaching their kids respect for themselves or for others. And they're being raised to believe that if they don't believe in something or if they don't agree with something, that they have the right to act like a complete fool and prevent other people from going about their life because they are unhappy with something. We've had a lot of riots all over the country where people are blocking the interstates, blocking the highways, blocking streets, and not letting people get to their jobs, get to their houses, get to places that they need to go to or want to go to, which is a violation of their freedom. And they're even vandalizing things. And that's why I've chosen to carry. Before, with me being a teacher, I'm not at a school district where I can carry at the school. There are places at Texas that allow you to do so. I'm not at one. But I was always, we have a law in Texas that says you can have it in your personal vehicle without having any type of permit. If you can legally own it, it can be in your car. And for a while, I thought that was good enough. But it's not. Because, our most recent shooting here in Texas was at a church. Someone walked into a church and shot at people. Now, Dr. Jeffers, the preacher at First Baptist Dallas, was a preacher here in Wichita Falls. And he was being interviewed by CNN or Fox or somebody. And he said, we welcome license to carry holders into our church. We like that they're here. Because if someone had tried that here in Dallas, at my church, he'd have got 1 or 2 shots off, and it had been the last thing he'd done on this earth. I know a lot of churches that have security teams, and it's sad that that's the world we live in, but it's the reality that we're living in, and you have to be prepared for it. So if I'm at Walmart, if I'm at church, if I'm at a bank, well, not a bank because there are laws and stuff, I have to do more research about what happens at a bank. But if I'm out in town, I'm probably going to be carrying. And it's a choice you have to make daily because you don't want to be that person looking down the barrel of a gun. Man, I wish I'd had my gun on me because it can cost you your life. And that's our reality. Too many times has somebody been able to have the talent or training or whatever it may be to prevent a situation from happening and had their hands tied because they either couldn't bring their weapon in to wherever they were at or they didn't bring it with them that day. So my series that I'm going to do is over license to carry, and that's the first step is, do I carry or do I not carry? And for me, the reality of the world that we live in, I'm choosing to carry. So, I hope you enjoy the series. I hope you learn a lot from it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and, continue to tune in. But, if you're on my side of the argument, if you're curious about license to carry, if you're new to it, then hopefully this will help you out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.